Dit is Anno 1900. Muziek uit de oude doos. Uitgezocht en gepresenteerd door Oeds Jan Koster.
Radio Caroline.
Welcome to Radio Seagull on 259.
This is Capital Radio.
Ici Radio Capital.
Hier is Capital Radio.
Aquí Radio Capital.
Hier is Capital Radio.
Radio Atlantis.
It is Radio International.
Radio Amigo.
Het is zondagmiddag en dat betekent een uurtje gouden ouwe hier bij RTV Stadskanaal 105.3 in de ether, 104.1 op de kabel. Hartelijk welkom dames en heren, jongens en meisjes bij uw nieuwe programma Anno 1900. Vanmiddag in deze tweede aflevering van onze serie Zeezenders in de Seventies praten we verder met Hans Knot over de belevenissen van die zeezenders. En laten we u weer een aantal historische radiofragmenten horen. En natuurlijk een aantal typische zeezenderplaten uit 1970, zoals deze. Young, Gifted and Black, That's Where It's At, van de Jamaicaanse duo Bob Andy en Marcia Griffiths. Dit nummer kwam tot een 5e plaats in de Engelse hitlijsten. Het duo had medio 1971 nog een bescheiden hitje met Pied Piper. En dat kennen we ook van Christian St. Peters en van de Utrechtse groep The Jets uit 1966. En dan gaan we gauw weer terug nu naar ons interview met de zeezender bij uitstek, Hans Knot. Op een gegeven moment bleek dat het schip van RNI verscheept was van voor de Nederlandse kust naar de Engelse kust.
Ja, in de tweede helft van maart waren de Britse overheidsinstanties niet zo blij met de komst van RNI. Immers in 1967 was de anti-zeezenderwet, de Marine Offences Act, van kracht geworden. En was het officieel verboden om voor een zeezender te werken als Brit. Nou, Roger Day was een Brit, als een voorbeeld. Het was zo dat de Britse regering besloot in te grijpen. Er werd een stoorzender op de frequentie van RNI gezet, waardoor een soort van jamming ontstond. Waarbij het niet meer aan te horen was, het geluid van Noordzee op je transistorradio. En Noordzee verschillende keren van frequentie wijzigde om die stoorzender te ontlopen. De stoorzender volgde, dat is begrijpelijk.
Well deserved that number one position. That's the Moody Blues, currently number one in the RNI Top 30 with a lovely thing called Simply Question. It's bound from RNI for this very week. Let's give a listen right down to the Tokens with Don't Worry Baby. I do. That's Home and Talent's currently number 28 in the RNI Top 40 for this very week. And of course, RNI on Tusk Transmissions this afternoon. We'd love to have you do a great big favor up for us. Why don't you drop around to some of your friends, or if you have a telephone, pick it up quickly and tell them that RNI is back on the air.
This is Radio Nazi International on 1367 kilohertz.
Music Radio. Music Radio. Music Radio.
Change this week of the online Top 30 and 23 last and 23 this. It takes a little bit longer than the great Chris Cobb.
Het waren een paar testfragmenten van Radio Noordzee op de 244 meter. En aansluitend hoorde u 2 fragmentjes van de jamming die de Britse regering op het station losliet. En u hoort inderdaad, daar was niet meer naar te luisteren eigenlijk. Het is de hoogste tijd voor weer een paar zeezenderhits uit 1970, dames en heren, jongens en meisjes. Zo dadelijk hoort u achtereenvolgens Jimmy Ruffin met Farewell is a Lonely Sound, Oscar Harris en de Twinkle Stars met Try a Little Love en Jimmy Cliff met Wild World.
1970.
Someone you love, you know you hurt inside as you wonder why. so hard for any man. You say it's just for a while, then you force a smile, and you hope she'll understand. Then a tear appears in her eyes as she tightly holds your hand. Then you let her know that it's time to go. You must leave while you can. Oh, but farewell is a lonely sound when told to someone you love. You know you're hurt inside as you wonder why you must leave the one that you love. I'm leaving, but I'll be back one day. Oh, every silent step you take, each one hurts your heart. As you board the train, you feel a pain that starts as you depart. Yeah, you wipe your eyes so she can't see, 'cause a man should never cry. Now there's just a trace of her crying face as you wave to her goodbye. That's why farewell is a lonely sound when told to someone you love. You know you're hurt inside as you wonder why you must leave the one that you love. I don't wanna leave you, baby. I don't wanna say goodbye, no, no. 'Cause it hurts inside and you wonder why you must leave the one that you love. Baby, baby, farewell is a lonely sound when told to someone you love. You know you're hurt inside as you wonder why you must leave the one that you love.
Now I'm not trying to teach you how to live, but I've got something I guess you all ought to know. Now listen. Try a little love is what Mama used to say. Son, try a little love and things will go your way. Try a little love in everything you do. Try a little love, 'cause love will do. Papa used to say the same thing to me. Son, try a little love. Yes, and then you will see. Try a little love in everything you do. Try a little love, 'cause love will do. You dig that, don't you? Well, now I want you to sing together with me. Come on.
start something new, and it's breaking my heart you're leaving. Baby, I'm grieving, but if you wanna leave, take good care. Hope you have a lot of nice things to wear, but then a lot of nice things turn bad out there. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just upon a smile. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. I'll always remember you just like a child, girl. You know I've seen a lot of what the world can do, and it's breaking my heart in two, because I never wanna see you sad, girl. Don't be bad, girl. But if you wanna leave, take good care. Hope you make a lot of nice friends out there, but just remember there's a lot of bad and beware. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just upon a smile. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. I'll always remember you just like a child, girl. But if you wanna leave, take good care. Hope you make a lot of nice friends out there, but just remember there's a lot of bad and beware. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just upon a smile. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. I'll always remember you just like a child. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. I'll always remember you just like a child. Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just upon a smile.
Er waren verkiezingen op komst en in juni 1970 besloot de eigenaren van Mebo 2, RNI, de naam te veranderen in overleg met de voormalige directeur van Radio Caroline in de naam van Caroline. Want die naam zou een hele sterke zijn om de jeugd te beïnvloeden te stemmen op de conservatieve partij. Waarom de jeugd? Het was toen voor de eerste keer dat 18-jarigen mochten stemmen in Groot-Brittannië. Voorheen was dat 21. Dus de jeugd werd beïnvloed met programma's onder de naam van Radio Caroline. En de conservatieve partij won de verkiezingen, waarbij men dacht binnen de leiding van het station, nu wordt de jammingzender, de stoorzender, wordt uitgezet.
Echt?
Het tegendeel was het geval.
Ja. En op welke frequentie stond op dat moment RNI, CQ, Caroline uit?
Ja, ik zei zo straks al, van verschillende frequenties heeft men uitgezonden. Men zende toen uit op de 244 meter middengolf. Op de korte golf de 49 meter band en de 31 meter band. En niet te vergeten op FM.
Ja, oké. Dus die verkiezingen zijn geweest. We hebben gedacht dat het daarna goed zou komen met het zonder al te veel problemen kunnen uitzenden. Maar dat pakte dus heel anders uit. En wat betekende dat voor Caroline?
De naam Caroline werd op een bepaald moment weer weggedaan. We gingen weer verder onder de naam Radio North International. Ja. Men besloot weer terug te gaan naar de Nederlandse kust. Men had even vergeten, dat hadden wij ook vergeten zo straks te vertellen, dat de inrichting van het zendschip met leengeld was gebeurd. Want op een bepaald moment was het geld op. Men heeft van investeerders gezocht en die gevonden in de eigenaren van Radio Veronica, de Verwijbroeders. 1 miljoen gulden werden gegeven onder de voorwaarde dat er nooit in de Nederlandse taal zou worden uitgezonden.
Ja. Ons vertelde dus net dat Radio Caroline in 1970 een tijdje heeft kunnen uitzenden vanaf het zendschip van Noordzee. En uiteraard hebben we daarvan wat fragmenten.
Anno 1900 haalt met plaatjes en praatjes herinneringen op aan de zeezenders in de Seventies.
Yes, indeed!
This is a Caroline Listeners Information Service announcement. These are facts. Fact. During the last term of office of the Conservative Party, taxation was reduced £2,000 million. During this term of office of the Labour Party, taxation has been increased by £6,667 million. Fact. Every Labour Prime Minister has devalued the pound. The pound has never been devalued by any Conservative Prime Minister. Think about it. Kerman, a song called, what's it? How Did We Ever Get This Way? That's Radio Caroline Short Shot. In actual fact, that's my hit pick for this particular week, and I went out for Annette Kamperman of Voorburg near Den Haag in the Netherlands. This is Caroline International, broadcasting on 244 meters in the medium wave. That's 1230 kilocycles. You can also hear us on VHF 100 megacycles. 14.5 minutes to 8.
The sound of the nation, Caroline, the sound of the land, Caroline, the sound of the nation, Caroline.
You're listening to the Alan West program from Caroline International. Don't forget tonight 11:30 Holland Headlights. You go down to Holland on see if you have a car and start flashing to us, okay? 11:30 tonight, Holland Headlights.
Caroline, the sound of the nation, Caroline, the sound of the land, Caroline, the sound of the nation, Caroline.
My mama done rocked me in the cradle in them old cotton fields back home.
It was back in Louisiana, just about a mile from friend. 'Cause there's not enough love to go around. No, there's not enough love to go around.
Redbird there in a song called Sympathy, bringing us to the final minutes of the second hour of the Alan West program for tonight. And don't forget, later on tonight at 11:30, Holland Headlights in the Carl Mitchell program. See you in just a few minutes after the news. This is Radio Caroline International, broadcasting on 244 meters, 1230 kilocycles in the medium wave band. And also hear us on VHF channel 43 or 100 megacycles. On the air from 5:30 a.m. until 2 a.m. normally. Present time on the air for 24 hours a day. This is your all-day music station, Radio Caroline International. At the sound of the bell, Bulliver watch time will be precisely 8 o'clock. Bulliver, who invented Accutron, the electronic tuning fork watch. Next on Caroline, the news at 8 o'clock, read by Mark Wesley.
And the news of the day and of the year, Conservatives' victory over Labour of 30-odd seats. Edward Heath needs now only the official appointment by the Queen and Harold Wilson's declaration of defeat to begin his role as Prime Minister of a Conservative government. The Deputy Conservative leader, Mr. Maudling, suggests that the first task for the Conservative government might be industrial relations and how to improve them. In the London stock market, news of the Conservatives' success has brought a strong upsurge. At the end of the afternoon's trading, the Financial Times share index was up nearly 17 points. The likelihood of a Conservative win came as a big but pleasant surprise in the city. The delighted stock market showed very substantial gains in early dealings. Tories' win also gave a very substantial boost to sterling. After more than 2.5 weeks in space, the 2 Russian cosmonauts in Soyuz 9 are safely back on Earth. They landed in Kazakhstan just before 1 o'clock our time. Although the Russians beat the previous American record set up by Borman and Lovell by nearly 4 days, there is one point about the flight that is puzzling Western experts. The Russians are saying the cosmonauts showed no signs during the flight of loss of bone calcium that other spacemen have experienced. This latest Russian space mission puts the Russians ahead of America in the understandings of prolonged space activities. And very finally, Caroline, weather news. Temperatures tonight will be mostly the same as yesterday's, but in the southwest of England it will be a little warmer. The outlook for the weekend, continuing dry with sunshine in many areas, maybe some showers or thunderstorms in the south. More news in 1 hour's time. This has been Mark Wesley reporting Radio Caroline News. Back to Alan West.
The electronic tunic clock watch.
Caroline, the sound of the nation. Caroline, the sound of the land. Caroline, the sound of the nation. Caroline!
Radio Caroline International. And we're providing music for you throughout the day, and of course, as you all know, we're now going throughout the night too to bring you all the election results to see which way it's going. But of course, everybody, I'm sure, is jumping for joy at the news that the Conservatives already have a 1% lead, and from what I understand, the lead is becoming stronger every minute. So it's nice to know you're all going out there and doing your thing, the right thing to do.
Message for Harold.
Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Wilson, if you think free radio's down? We are the boys who will stop your little game. We are the boys who will make you think again. So who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Wilson, if you think free radio's down? Mr. Stonehouse starts to jam at 5:21. And he goes home at 2 a.m. His dirty work is done. So watch out, Mr. Wilson, you have met your match in us. If you think you can crush us, we're afraid you missed the bus. So who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Wilson, if you think the radio's down?
What will the results of Thursday's general election mean to you? There are 5.5 million people between the ages of 18 and 25. Vote for the party that believes in your individual freedom. The party that believes in free broadcasting. The party that believes in free enterprise. The party that can sustain your rights as a human being. The Conservative Party believes in these things. It's a fact that the child is the first victim of poverty, disease, ignorance and hunger. An ancient and vicious cycle, and even as this cycle is broken, new problems arise, such as overcrowded cities, unemployment, and the misuse of family planning. More than 100 million infants will be born this year. 12 million of these will die before they reach their first birthday. It's your responsibility, and it's ours, not to let them die unconsciously. These children, threatened by hunger and disease, will be our partners in tomorrow's world. It's no use having starved partners. That's why we support UNICEF.
This is Radio Caroline International, broadcasting on 244 meters, 1230 kilocycles in the medium wave band. You can also hear us on VHF, channel 43 or 100 megacycles. On the air from 5:30 a.m. until 2 a.m. normally. Present time on the air for 24 hours a day. This is your all-day music station, Radio Caroline International.
She is so
At the sound of the bell, Bulliver watch time will be precisely 8 o'clock. Bulliver, who invented Accutron, the electronic tuning fork watch. Next on Caroline, the news at 8 o'clock, read by Mark Wesley.
And the news of the day and of the year, Conservatives' victory over Labour of 30-odd seats. Edward Heath needs now only the official appointment by the Queen and Harold Wilson's declaration of defeat to begin his role as Prime Minister of a Conservative government.
Oh, yes, I know that you and I turn and say goodbye and go a different way. It's like a shadow on the movie, and when the I know that you and I are the lovers who end with broken hearts. It's
like a sad old kind of movie. That's Piggity Witch there, number 29 this week in Caroline's County. A minute from right now, and first let's go to
76 this book mobile. Be on standby. Thank you.
Something that made it up there where the air is rare, and now, baby, it's made of gold. This is Radio Caroline International, broadcasting from 51 degrees, 42 minutes, 30 seconds north, 1 degree, 17 minutes east on 244 meters, 1230 kilocycles in the medium wave band, and in FM, channel 43, 100 megacycles. Radio Caroline's mailing address, P.O. Box 113, Zurich 8047 in Switzerland. And we're on the air from 5:30 a.m. until 2 a.m. every day, although for the past couple of days we've been going 24 hours bringing you the Radio Caroline election news. This is Britain's only all-day music station, Radio Caroline International. And now the right time from Bolivar is exactly 2 o'clock. Bolivar, who invented Accutron, the electronic tuning fork watch. And here is the news as it happens. Of course, you heard the news flash that, in fact, the Conservatives have got the 316 seats needed to give them a victory. They got that at about 1 minute to 2, so that was a very, very late report indeed, and we're surprised to have got it in, just squeezed it in as quickly as we did. So let's see, how do we go? After driving during the night, Mr. Wilson and Mrs. Wilson arrived at number 10 Downing Street at 7 this morning. Conservative leader Edward Heath was greeted with cheers and nearly mobbed by young Conservatives outside Conservative headquarters in London after driving in from his constituency of Bexley. The Liberals have lost 3 candidates out of 13 already at the time of this report. The lowest majority polled so far was at Ipswich, where Dinglefoot, Conservative, retained the seat by only a majority of 13 votes. In the stock market, the news of the Conservatives' likely majority of around 32 seats has brought wide-ranging gains in share prices. The pound has also strengthened. The Conservatives actually took the lead at about 10 to 1 this afternoon. Tonight, Mr. Heath will be Prime Minister at the head of a Conservative government with a majority sufficient to see them through 5 years of government. And here are the latest results as they came through. The Conservatives hold Harborough. They hold Grotham and Galloway and St Ives, also Leonminster, Gower and Penistone. I beg your pardon, Penistone was a Labour hold and Gower was a Labour hold. The Conservatives gained Bosworth. They held Worcestershire and Berwick, Ormskirk, and the last one was Labour holds Stirling. I'm not quite sure what the seat was that came through that gave the Conservative victory, the 316th seat to come in. But we'll have that for you as it comes through. But the important news was, of course, that the Conservatives have, in fact, won the election, as far as everybody is concerned, with just a few more seats and votes to come through. And finally, the rest of the news. Soviet cosmonauts Nikolaev and Sifastanyov are expected to return to Earth today. The Soviets have now broken the space endurance record set by the United States. The cosmonauts are expected to land their craft on land in Siberia or somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. Communist troops were spotted yesterday to have been only 10 miles from the Cambodian capital of Phnom Penh. This morning roads were cut off almost entirely following fears that the communists could try to enter and seize the capital today. The 24-hour strike by the rail staff at Waterloo Station in London has caused the close of that station. There'll be no trains running, not even boat trains to Southampton. And finally, we have some cricket results at Lord's with just over 90 minutes of play. The rest of the world are 198 for 2. That means they haven't lost a wicket this morning, and they're now 83 runs off. Eddie Barlow has just reached his first Test 100 in England. His 102 not out. Graham Pollock is 35 not out. And we have Radio Caroline weather. The day will continue dry and sunny. Southwest England will be cloudy at times, and there'll be a few showers probably during the afternoon. Northern Ireland and a few places in western Scotland mostly dry, although mostly dry, will be rather cloudy at times. The coastal areas of northeast and southwest England, also eastern Scotland, will have a few sea fog patches. Temperatures will be mostly the same as yesterday's, but in southwest England it will be a little warmer. And the outlook for the weekend, continuing dry with sunshine in many areas. There may be some showers or thunderstorms in the south. Well, that's the Radio Caroline news. And for those who've just this moment tuned in, well, the results of the election give the Conservatives the victory that they needed, 316 seats. So it will now, from now onwards, be a Conservative Party in power for the next 5 years. We'll be giving you more details as they come through. In the meantime, we hand you back to the Geeter with the heater and stand by for more music. From Radio Caroline, this has been Mark Wesley reporting Caroline Newsbeat.
There she was, just walking down the street singing. Snapping her fingers and shuffling her feet singing. She looked good, she looked fine. She looked good, she looked fine. Then I nearly lost my mind. Before I knew it, she was walking.
Manfred Mann, en dat was dus de manier waarop Radio Caroline de verkiezingen in 1970 volgde. Maar zoals we nu weten heeft de conservatieve partij niet gebracht wat de Zeezenders ervan hoopten. We gaan nu verder terug naar Hans Knots en die vertelt verder over die zomer van 1970.
Wie herinnert zich de firma Buttinger aan de Oost-Hambrikade bij de oude Kapteinbrug?
Ik kijk je vol verwachting aan, Hans.
Oké, 1970. Daar lagen schepen opgelegd. Een oude marineschuit aan de rechterkant van de Kapteinbrug, gezien vanaf de Kapteinlaan. En aan de linkerkant lagen 2 coasters. De MV Cito en de MV Zeevaart. Jarenlang lagen ze daar. Ik woonde aan de Korreweg. Wij speelden vaak op die schepen. Op een bepaald moment werden beide schepen verkocht. Eén aan Ebi Nathan voor de Voice of Peace voor de kust van Israël. En de ander aan de heer Thompson uit Canada. Die een idealistisch station wilde inrichten op de MV Zeevaart. Het in Groningen liet ombouwen tot de MV King David. En verder liet uitrusten in de haven van Zaandam tot Capital Radio.
Capital Radio, ja, dat is een ander station. En als ik het goed heb, is Capital Radio ongeveer in begin september is die begonnen met haar programma's. We hebben een opname van een non-stop programma voordat de officiële opening plaatsvond. En we hebben voor u een fragment van de opening waarbij Paul Harris het woord doet.
Nou, probeerden we met een 1 kilowatt zender.
Ja, goed.
Het was ontvangbaar in Groningen. Ja. Maar we hadden altijd geluk met de ontvangst.
De bepaling van de gedachte. In de 60er jaren had, dacht ik, Radio Londen de sterkste zender. Hoe zwaar was die?
Nou, maximaal 55 kilowatt. Er werd vaak hoger gezegd, maar 55 is de maximale.
En deze zender, Capital
Radio Noordzee, middengolf 105 kilowatt.
Alsjeblieft.
Veronica 10.
En Capital Radio begon dus met 1 kilowatt.
Begon met 1 kilowatt. Het later iets versterkt, maar men had nogal een experimentele spiraalvormige antenne die het vaak niet deed, brak of in de storm schade ontstond. Verschillende keren naar binnen om te herstellen. En ook daar speelde geld een hele belangrijke rol. Ja. De dominees, zoals Maasbach en Toornvliet, hadden hun programma's erop. Maar dat bracht niet genoeg geld in het laadje om het station draaiende te houden. Een station wat trouwens viel onder de marine van lag niet Liechtenstein.
Ja, de marine. Ja, Liechtenstein. Ja, natuurlijk heeft die marine nodig.
Dus het dekpersoneel was in dienst van de marine van Liechtenstein. Waren ook allemaal prachtig gekleed in kleding van de marine. En het merendeel van de bemanning waren vrouwen.
Alsjeblieft. En dat had invloed op de programmering, op de manier waarop de radio gemaakt werd aan boord?
Ik denk dat je Capital Radio niet kunt vergelijken met popstations als Caroline, Londen, Noordzee, Veronica. Nee, het was een stug programma waarin de presentatie in geschreven stijl gebeurde. Dus niet het adlibben wat wij nu gewoon aan het doen zijn.
Nearly every government in West Europe maintains an iron control on the means of instant mass communications. Nearly every West European government has exercised its legislative power to maintain control of radio and television broadcasting. By creating and maintaining these monopolies, they have in fact established dictatorships. Dictatorships in any form are evil. Capital Radio has been established by professional broadcasters under the auspices of the World Body for the Broadcasting Industry, the International Broadcasters Society. The immediate task of this radio station is threefold: to offer an alternative to the government-controlled broadcasting systems, to awake the West European public to the dangers inherent in government monopolies of any kind, and to save human lives. We'll be telling you more about this last matter in our daily I&D program, which will begin very soon. Capital Radio hopes to serve its listeners by offering a continuous music service. Capital Radio hopes to demonstrate how wonderful radio can be when it is free of the influence of governments. Capital Radio is opposed to dictatorships of any kind. We hope our audiences are too.
You have just heard Timothy Thomason, Executive Director of the International Broadcasters Society.
Vandaag, dinsdag 1 september 1970, is de officiële openingsdag van een nieuw radiostation, genaamd Capital Radio. Wij hopen dat u en velen met u nog heel lang met genoegen naar het programma zullen luisteren dat u op deze golflengte wordt aangeboden.
Your punishment must be severe. I sentence you to listen to the BBC light for the rest of your life.
Anything but that!
Order! Order! Any more of this contempt of court, and it will be the home service. That's better.
On August 15th, 1967, it became illegal for any British citizen to be connected in any way with an offshore radio station. With 2 years in prison and a heavy fine, the penalty for any person who dared to support one. At 3 o'clock on August the 14th, Radio London said goodbye to its 8 million listeners.
Big L time is 3 o'clock and Radio London is now closing down.
Wonderful Big L.
At midnight, this very frequency on which you are now listening to Capital Radio, 270 meters, became dead when Radio 270 closed down.
Well, we have exactly 60 seconds left, so I haven't said my goodbyes yet. Well, you already know my sentiments. I'm going to miss you one hell of a lot. And from me, Rusty, I hope maybe someday soon, in the not-too-distant future, we'll meet on the air again very, very soon. This is Radio 270, broadcasting on 1115 kilocycles in the medium wave band. The time is 1.5 minutes before midnight, and we're now closing down. On behalf of the 270 men, the radio technicians, the captain and the crew, and everybody on shore concerned with Radio 270, this is Rusty Ellen wishing you God bless and Godspeed. Good night and goodbye. Radio 270 is now closing down.
On August the 15th, 1967, only Caroline remained, and even she perished 6 months later. Gradually, over the last 12 years, European governments have legislated against the activities of shipborne radio stations in a desperate effort to protect broadcasting monopolies and concentrate the power of broadcasting where it may be strictly controlled. Offshore radio stations may appear to come and then to fade away. Capital Radio is here, and I think it is here to stay. It will, I think, weather the storms which lie ahead because of two things: which mark it apart from its predecessors which have been silenced. This station will ride high on the waves, driven on by professionalism, backed up by practical idealism. Far more than a crude desire for quick money seems to me to lie behind this operation. Its creative force lies in deeply held beliefs. Belief in freedom of radio, belief in professionalism, unimpeded by government regulation, and belief, above all, in freedom itself. Perhaps in the coming winter months, as the small motor vessel King David tosses and rises in the grip of the type of storm only the cold grey North Sea can produce, perhaps you will think about what capital radio really means. I think it is something worthwhile to say. Capital radio is indeed here. I hope it is here to stay.
Today is the official start of a new radio service for the European audience, Capital Radio. After 2.5 months of trials, Capital Radio now launches its new program. Do stay tuned, won't you?
Ja, dat was de officiële opening van Capital Radio. We hebben nog tijd voor een paar zeezenders, dames en heren, jongens en meisjes. U hoort achtereenvolgens hoort u Brad met Move Over, Mango Jerry met Maggie en Mary Hopkin met Tama Harbor.
1970.
pine tree, alone my friend and me. We both climbed down and crossed the sand until we reached the sea. And the waves come higher, high as we sway and dance. And the way I feel makes me want to take a chance. Sing a song of Tama Harbor, climb a coconut tree, catch a fish and light a fire, drink some wine with me. And if you say you like me, and I like you, we can live and dream together in a world that's new. Sunshine, 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 sunshine. In the treehouse here we lay.
Ja, en tot zover Mary Hopkin met Tama Harbor. En tot zover deze tweede aflevering van de Zeezender Specials. Hoe het met die Zeezenders verder ging, luistert u volgende week gewoon weer verder. Ik ga er nu gauw vandoor, maar Anno 1900 komt terug. Volgende week zondagmiddag, zelfde tijd, zelfde plaats, RTV Stadskanaal, 105.3 in de ether, 104.1 op de kabel. En op internet kunt u naar ons luisteren via www.rtvstadskanaal.nl. Graag tot de volgende week en nog een prettige zondag verder.
Dit was Anno 1900. Muziek uit de oude doos, uitgezocht en gepresenteerd door Oeds Jan Koster. Anno 1900 is een productie van de Regionale Senioren Omroep. Tot de volgende week.